Mighty cars. Since when is it, since the dawn of civilization, that humans, man and woman, are slaves to the very tools that aid them in their daily life? Nowhere is this fact of the matter more prevalent than now. Consider this. You do not have a car. You want to go to the nearest grocery store, which is located in a shopping mall a few kilometers from where you live. There is a bus stop in front of your house, but you don't feel like waiting. You feel like walking, to be master of your own fate for once. And so, you walk. And so, you choose to walk on the inner roads. There are still cars here which drive relatively fast and which occupy most of the road. Again, there is no walking lane. It's an invisible lane and line that you must figure out for yourself, for your own safety. Certainly, no cars are going to figure that out for you. Cars will try their best to avoid you to prevent any further problems. Once you see the shopping mall on the opposite side of the road, the next step is to figure out how to get there. An overhead bridge or zebra crossing with traffic light would be ideal, but what if there weren't any? Overhead bridge and pedestrian crossings are few and far between, and you may have to walk a distance away in order to get where you want. Sometimes, the duration you have to cross is limited as well. You would need to run across. Once you have done your shopping, your only choice will be to take the bus or to somehow lug all the grocery bags all the way back home on foot. On the plus side, it builds strength and fitness. On the other hand, it would not be so ideal for people that are too young or too old to walk safely on the road. Never mind a safe road, but one that is limiting in terms of safety to pedestrians. This is only one example of how we are bound to the very technology that has made our lives easier in the first place. Think handphones, the internet, clothes, food, shoes, bags, etc., etc. The list is endless. Instead of a luxury, it has now become a necessity. Our infrastructure, our system, our world has been built around the concept of luxury being a necessary component, one that requires us to be indebted to it financially in order to live our lives. We would need to disconnect from the grid and move somewhere isolated and remote in order to be truly free. But how many of us are able to do that? For those who refuse to be a part of the system and who would like to do things the old-fashioned way or simply are not privileged enough financially, they would have to do it the difficult way, in a manner that while strengthens them, also endangers their lives unnecessarily. We used to hunt and forage for food or grow our own crops. We used to build our own house. Selling, buying, and trading were only for luxuries which we did not have. Nobody had everything. In a way, it's a win-win situation. But now, buying and selling is everything. It's essential for us to survive. We need money to survive, and money doesn't grow on trees. We still can grow our own food. Seeds are aplenty and relatively cheap, but we no longer have any free land. We rely on developers to build our houses and on banks to loan us money. We can grow food in containers, pots, planter box, etc., but we need money as well. The whole system has been rigged around the idea of making luxury a necessity instead of just that, a luxury. It's been forced down our proverbial throats and into our lives. That is why what used to cost a few cents decades ago are now a few dollars and even more. Everything is centered around having more and more, to sell more, and to encourage or to make it compulsory, even for people, to buy more and more, just to live. And this system has been put in place by the people at the top, of whom I know not, for their convenience. And you know what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. And make no mistake, you can't beat them. It's a war, a secret war. There are many in this world who would like to see the vast differences between the poor and the rich, because it reaffirms their existence, It makes them feel good about themselves. It makes life worth living for them who focus on their ego and not much else. And by widening the gap or ensuring the gap remains, they can use their financial power to manipulate the poor to make their lives, rich lives, even easier, richer, and more lavish, opulent, and in excess. Most of us are just followers, slave to the system, but some have broken free using their ingenuity. This inequality is why there are crimes. Everyone is doing whatever they can to break free of the system, to go against it for themselves, because no one else will care for you. A broken home, a broken society, a broken system where you are left to fend for yourself will encourage just that. And no matter the punishment or the deterrent or the education, crimes will always spring up. Crimes are merely the byproduct of a broken social and financial system that encourages and promotes inequality. If people are in a happy environment, why turn to crime? Why do it the difficult way? The only way would be for governments to make the system more accessible to everyone. That means either to downgrade the existing ones so that anyone can access them in a safe, conducive, suitable environment, or to upgrade the lives of those who otherwise would not be able to access them so that they can access it. One would argue that all the solutions are there. Everyone knows it. The only thing that remains is to actually do it, starting with the most powerful entities in the world financially. Unfortunately, money is raw power in our world. The top 1% of the world can do what the other 99% could if in a concerted, focused, and prolonged effort, which can just as easily be undone by the former. In order to build a better world, we need 100% of the population to be on the same path and mindset. Thank you for reading, listening, and watching. Please do consider clicking subscribe and like if you have enjoyed it. Hopefully, this will not sound like an anti-establishment rant against the system. It's more like random musings and observations as I see it. Cheers, and thank you once again.